coming up.
Our steer weights have increased, and some years we've seen 25-pound increases over previous years using the DeBrucker program.
I absolutely love the Charolais. They're high performing and low maintenance.
See how one family in Montana set the standard in Charolais genetics. Next on The American Rancher. Hello and welcome to The American Rancher. I'm Pam Minnick. Charolais cattle are well known for growth and feedlot performance, especially in a crossbreeding program. Every year, the DeBrucker family in Dutton, Montana, works to improve their herd of peak-performing Charolais seedstock. And then the next year, they work to exceed what they've accomplished the year before. This devotion to excellence has been the pattern of life for the DeBruckers since 1958. And today, their genetics rank in the top percentage of the Charolais breed.
Originally, Charolais were like a draft animal and a milk animal back in France, a few hundred years back. When the Charolais first came into the United States, a lot of them were pretty big-boned and heavy birth-weighted bulls and big heads. And they just weren't the right type of cattle for the American cattle industry. They had a reputation for some calving difficulties, and they earned that, rightfully so. But through the years, and in the last 50 years of development, your pickup that you drive is a heck of a lot better than it was in the 70s and the 80s, and it's got a lot of bells and whistles and a lot smoother and easier to ride in. So are those Charolais bulls. We've developed them to have a nice small head, smooth shoulders, long body, and they'll go out and calve with anything right now. And so what we've tried to do through the years is try to build a bull that keeps the performance in them, so you get a lot of natural growth and free pounds on your calf crop and in the feedlot. But on top of that, we've bred bulls that are going to have calvability. They're going to have small heads and smooth shoulders and long bodies. Back in 1958, my dad bought his first Charolais bull and tried that bull on some black baldy and red baldy type cows. And he just loved those calves so much. He fed them out to fat and saw how they did both at weaning and then growing them out with grain. He saw how much performance the Charolais cattle brought to the table and how stout the fat cattle were when they were ready. He did that for a few years. And then in 1963, he and my mom decided to buy their first Charolais cross heifers. And back then you couldn't buy purebreds, there just weren't enough of them around, so they had to buy half-blood heifers and start breeding them up from there. Our genetics are shaped right, so that the cow can have the calf, no problem. You might have a few pounds heavier calf than what you would with some other breeds, but they're the right shape of cattle and the small head, and so they come out and they've got plenty of vigor and they'll jump up and get to sucking, and so we feel like we've built the right type of bull for the United States cattle industry. We've developed a genetic package that not only will calve well, but also grow well, give the rancher a lot of weaning weight, give that feedlot a lot of performance and feed efficiency, and then help get that packer some good yielding cattle that will also grade.
Nolan Conway is a rancher in western Montana. His ranch has been in the family for 3 generations, and he runs DeBrucker Charolais genetics in his herd.
This place I inherited from my dad, who inherited it from his dad, so it's been in our family for, I'd say, over 100 years. My dad, he ran a cow-calf operation, kind of got into cows after Vietnam, and he always ran about 100 head. I think he'd run mainly Black Angus. Ever since I could remember growing up as a kid, I helped him. He would just keep a few replacement heifers every year, and that's kind of where I learned to keep a few cows every year and then slowly grow. About 10 years ago, he gave me the opportunity to take over the cows, and that's where we are now. So when I first started ranching, we had Black Angus bulls and Black Angus cows, and we would average about 525 weaning weight, about 500 on the heifers. We had an okay breeding rate. It wasn't anything to call home about. We've been trying to grow our cow herd the last few years, so a lot of these cows come from the sale barn, a lot of run-of-the-mill cows. About 6 or 7 years ago, I noticed these calves. We had been branding. I'd been driving through the Choteau area and noticed how big and framey these Charolais calves were, and that's when I got introduced to the DeBrucker family. The first year I had these calves, everybody told me, be careful, be careful. They're big calves, and I didn't have one problem. People say you got to pull a few here or there. I didn't pull one calf. I didn't have any problems with them getting up and sucking. They were phenomenal. The buyers are seeing great value in these Charolais calves. They perform well in the feedlot. I absolutely love the Charolais. They're high performing and low maintenance.
After the break,
Our steer weights have increased, and some years we've seen 25-pound increases over previous years using the DeBrucker program.
another DeBrucker customer shares their success story with Charolais genetics. That's after the break here on The American Rancher. Welcome back to The American Rancher. The DeBrucker family in Dutton, Montana has developed top-ranked Charolais genetics since 1958. Customers across America use DeBrucker Charolais in their crossbreeding program for more pounds on sale day. And one of those customers is Dennis Fitzpatrick.
We're just north of Browning on the Blackfeet Reservation, and raised not too far from this place. And so we've sort of stayed in agriculture. We were real familiar with this area. My grandparents ranched just over the hill, and this was a place that our friends had ranched for several years. And so we pasture our cattle together, and then we bring them back in the fall, and they go on the stubble. And right before we market the calves, and they winter actually real close to each other. These two herds, my brother and I, we have separate operations, but we do quite a bit of the marketing and the breeding program the same, just to try to uniform our herds. We were using Angus, and the calves were, they were a little lighter when it came time to market. The climate is so harsh up here, we wanted to make sure that we put on as many cattle in the marketing process as possible, so we backed off our calving date. We calve end of March and mostly in April now. And so by moving our calving date, we felt we needed to also gain those pounds back with a different breed. So I was approached by a person that I know I'm related to, and he uses DeBrucker bulls, and so he's had a really good experience with them, and he suggested that we give it a try. And so we were a little bit skeptical at first, just because of the size of the bulls and the kind of the possibility of having a bigger animal, and that we just didn't know anything about. So it wasn't that way. We've had a really good experience with calving, and just appreciate the calving ease of the bulls that we have. We have a group of cattle that are owned by myself and my brother Cole Fitzpatrick, and we come up here the last couple of years, and the DeBrucker bulls for the breeding season, they do quite well in this field. They got a lot of water and a lot of grass and a higher elevation climate. Usually bring them out 1st of October. They do quite well in this type of environment. One of the benefits that I've seen over the last few years using the DeBrucker program is that our steer weights have increased, and some years we've seen 25-pound increases over previous years, and it's also contributing to the higher heifer weights at the end of the year. We've increased our heifer weights to be real close to what our steer weights are coming in at each year, and I feel that's because of the DeBrucker genetics. We find our breed up is increased and is steady, and it's providing us a good stable calving rate year over year, and so we're happy with what we see with the bull's performance in the field. The DeBrucker family does a really good job in showing you the history of how the bulls have performed year over year, and introducing different families to their breeding program. The data that they provide at the buyer's sale has enabled us to pick the right types of breeding families to introduce into our herd. So we've been real happy and satisfied with the performance of the DeBrucker bulls and the program that they offer. And we're going to continue bringing bulls back to our herd from the DeBrucker sale, and hope anybody that is looking for another option to put pounds on their animals, they give the DeBrucker bulls consideration.
Up next.
The whole family has the same thing in mind, and we're making a uniform bull that's pretty stout.
See the DeBrucker breeding philosophy in action when the American Rancher continues. Stay with us.
Download the DeBrucker Charolais phone app for ranch contacts, bull data, and sale details. Click the bull sale link to view every lot in the DeBrucker spring sale, with videos and performance data. Filter according to birth weight, performance, sires, or lot number, and save to favorites. Now DeBrucker branded beef is available on the app. All this and more are just a click away, including live bidding on Superior the first Saturday in April at Western Livestock Auction in Great Falls, Montana.
Welcome back to the American Rancher. The DeBrucker family in Dutton, Montana has developed top percentage Charolais genetics for over 60 years. With that much seed stock development experience to work from, the DeBruckers have honed in on a simple breeding philosophy that attracts an ever-growing customer base across America.
We're a pretty large family. There's 7 kids in my family, my brother and I, and then there's 5 sisters. We're all directly involved, in one way or another. Some nephews and nieces of mine have some cattle, and they're raising some Charolais bulls and cows. And so it feels good to have that next generation coming back into the operation. But we all have a hand in trying to help each other do well and help get Charolais out in the industry. Rather than go and incorporate into one operation for all of us back in the 80s, my mom and dad decided it'd be best if we just had our own operations, and we're all pretty happy about that. I mean, we're able to farm on our own, we're able to ranch on our own, but yet we help each other and work together to get it all done. And so I have my Charolais cattle, my brother has his, and each individual member of the family has their own, but we've got the same concept of what we're trying to produce. We're using the same genetics.
It's a line bred program. The whole family has the same thing in mind, and we're making a uniform bull that's pretty stout and pretty attractive bulls. Within the family, the breeding operation, each individual kind of breeds how they want, within the family. My brother Cutter and I own a Charolais purebred herd with the DeBrucker family. I choose what bulls I want to breed to. Brett and Mark choose what bulls they want to breed to. What we aim for is just good, solid cattle that anyone can use. These cattle can go out and work for any rancher, no matter what type of cattle they're putting them on. What our customers expect from our Line 1 operation is predictability in their calves. At the end of the day, our cattle are pretty predictable. They're going to calve well, they're going to grow quick, and the feedlots are going to love them. Our cow herd's very uniformed, and if you have a chance to make it to our annual bull sale, you'll see that in those sale bulls. From lot 100 to 700, the bulls are very uniform. And I think that's what every year at our sale, what customers typically, the feedback is wow, they all look the same. From lot 10 to lot 500, I could have bought the same bull.
See the width in that bull's butt? That's all about pounds. It's not about height of how tall he is, because height doesn't have much to do with pounds, but width and volume does. They're pretty calving ease bulls, and they've got some very good maternal traits. So there will probably be people wanting to bid on this set of bulls for those traits, where we're more looking for just pounds in our operation. Also, we pick our bulls by EPDs, and these bulls' EPDs are way above average in the Charolais industry.
One of the big compliments we get from a lot of our customers is that our bulls will go in to a lot of different areas and they'll adapt to their situation. So that's why we can send bulls down into the Gulf of Mexico and Florida and Texas area and Louisiana. And it takes a little bit of time, but those bulls will adapt, and then they'll be ready to handle those tough high humidity, a lot of water problems there. And also we'll go out into high desert country like Oregon, Nevada, Washington area, Idaho, and those bulls can handle the low rainfall areas with cold nights and hot days and lots of climbing. So lots of mountainous areas. So our bulls have the genetics built into them to adapt into a lot of different places.
We like how it is, and we like Charolais bulls because they calve so much easier. For us, it seems like that way. And once they hit the ground, they're just like a Black Angus. They just get right up and take off. And we're kind of liking how they always performed in all the years we've done it. DeBruycker Charolais has been great people. They've been doing great for doing service, and a great family to do business with, and I'll do business with them for a long time.
Well, her typical weaning weight is around 580 pounds. They just do it on grass. We don't subsidize them at all. We feed hay and cake for about 4 months out of the year, and that's it. The rest of the time, they're out on native pasture.
What you can expect at our sale is you'll find bulls for your purebred breeders, bulls that should be in the seed stock industry, semen collection, and then there's going to be those bulls that they're ready to go to work down in Louisiana, Florida, Nevada. They're going to go to work on any type of cows, and I think today more than ever they're going to upgrade any cow herd. As we just seem like we keep getting warmer, the summers get hotter and longer. I think it's a better time than ever to breed to a Charolais bull and get those calves a little lighter colored, lighter skinned, and something that's not just collecting heat all day long. So especially from any rancher's perspective, that's going to help your calves in the summer, and then on any feed yard should love that. A couple weeks here in Montana, and we've been 95 to 100 degrees, and you drive by a pen of Charolais cross calves, and they're at the bunk eating, and take it for what it's worth. You drive by a pen of black calves, or black 11 and 1200 pounders are starting to get flush, and they're panting. These Charolais cattle, they're ready to go to work. So here today, you'll see it on this set of cows. It's been 95 to 100 for the last 2 weeks. These cows have no shade, limited water on this ranch, and they're just out doing it. The bulls are still out working today. These calves in late February into March, April, they'll be born at negative 20, 30 degrees. Maybe the warmest day is 10, 20 above. And then by May, we're getting into 50 degrees and big temperature swings. By June, we're 80, 90. By July here in August, we're 95 to 100. And like today, we're 30-mile-an-hour winds up here, and it's hot. And these cows have no shade. Come fall, by September, we might see snow again. Here, actually, right where these cattle were, 4 years ago, we had 4 feet of snow in September on them. So, they've seen it all, and their calves are ready to go do whatever, any ranch. The hybrid vigor you can get breeding Charolais bulls is, right off the bat, you're gonna get that extra pounds of gain come fall. Right off those cows, that calf will be 25, 50, maybe even 100 pounds bigger, depending on your operation. When it comes to the feed yards, these calves, they're not gonna stand around and pant and be hot. These cross calves are just gonna sit and eat, and then the feed conversion on these cross calves, that hybrid vigor, you just can't beat it.
As everybody knows, we've kind of gone through a period here following COVID where the industry was kind of focused on one breed. I think that a lot of the feedlots, and I know the packers are getting it figured out, that they need these crossbred cattle, and the crossbreeding that most of them tell us that they prefer are the Charolais crossbred calves. Our Charolais bulls go out, they get used on Black Angus cows, Red Angus cows, Herefords, Longhorns cows, Coriani. I've even got a customer using them on Jersey cows now. And I saw a video of those the other day, and they just look terrific. Those Charolais on Jersey cows, those calves look terrific. They're actually good feedlot type cattle. We've got a number of customers that I said, use Longhorn and Coriani type cows, and our bulls go in and make those calves out of those cows be some beef animals. And so they got a little bit of bone and they got a little bit of substance to them, and they can actually perform in a feedlot and get some weight put on them. And so we've got feedlots calling us pretty regularly looking for Charolais cross calves. We've got packers that we've known for years that tell us how great calves out of our bulls do in the packing house. And so I think the Charolais breed has a big future to it. I think guys really need to look for it, and we'd be happy to help them if given the opportunity.
At our sale, there's flights into Great Falls. We'll take care of you, and my Aunt Kathy, she'll make you a really good lunch, and then you'll have a Charolais steak dinner on us. And then you can stay at the bar and hang out with us as long as you want, or come back out and look at cattle.
Join the DeBrucker family for their annual Spring Bull Sale on April 5th at the Western Livestock Auction in Great Falls, Montana. The sale will be on Superior if you can't make it in person. Log on to DeBruckerCharolais.com or SuperiorLivestock.com, or download the DeBrucker Charolais app for iPhone or Android for more details. That's all the time we have today. To find out more about us, visit our website, theamericanrancher.com, or find us on Facebook or YouTube. I'm Pam Minnick. For our entire American Rancher team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.